So from Accenture's perspective, I think we've had AI around for quite some time, part of digital transformation that's been happening over the last decade, particularly automation. But when we think about the evolution that we've seen in the advancements in AI, we have to think very differently now about trust and this idea of transparency in particular. So whereas previously it might have been a one point in time check, it would have been more of an ethics lens that we would have been thinking about. In the current context, when we think about AI, generative AI, even agentic AI, then actually we need to think about as trust as almost being that catalyst, which either becomes the barrier in terms of how we adopt at scale, or also becomes that real opportunity to help us adapt rapidly at scale. When we think about then what does trust mean in that context more broadly, we quite often think about it across the kind of the various different elements. So even the basic things like process, technology, human aspects of it. From a process perspective, one of the things we're learning with where we are with AI today is that, we really fundamentally need to rethink some of our processes. AI is fundamentally changing how we think about and run processes. So we're going almost back to basics with the process redesign and thinking about making sure we have a very good process in place before we then apply AI to it. And in doing that, from a trust perspective, we need to make sure we think about the standards, the policies that guide that process and the correct governance and accountability that's already built into that. When we think about it from the technology lens and the software and the systems and the platforms we use, then actually it's making sure we have those right checks and balances along the way, that we think about the cyber risk, we think about all of the components of that, and that is built in as we create, and that the right governance is built in as we create these systems and use these platforms. More broadly, one of the bigger ones for me personally is that human side. One of the speakers at the event we were at today talked about trust is, it has to be earned. And it takes a long time perhaps to earn it, but it can be very easily eroded when something goes wrong. So when we think then of the human side and we think about the employees in our business, we need to think about, well, how do we make sure they have the right AI literacy to know actually not only what are the tools, but how do they use it and how do they use it in a responsible way? And with that, we need to think about the right language and narrative and storytelling for how we talk about AI, because AI is not just automation. And for many it is. And they think about the fear of that and they think about actually the implication for their roles. But if we talk about the true impact of it and how our employees and our citizens can use and leverage AI to achieve something, do something different and create better value, then actually we start to think about gaining their trust because they understand it and they're more willing to use it. And that's where we really see the magic of where this could go and the potential for the future.